Hello, and welcome to the Connecting Point. I am Dr. Marcy Thurman Simmons, and I'm here to facilitate a wonderful conversation today with some marvelous creators, which we'll talk about in a few moments. But as you know, this is a platform for creators, particularly young creators, to connect, inspire, share their ideas, and transform the world through their creativity. And today we have, oh my gosh, I was almost in tears when they popped on because I remembered, oh gosh, how small they were and doing some wonderful things. We have with us today Jaila and Myla Janae. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Myla Janae Price. They are all around integrationists. And when I say integrationists, I mean arts integration. They know how to do it all. They know how to act. They know how to sing. They know how to dance. Do y'all draw too?
I used to. Myla's still good at it, but I used to. I stopped when I was 14.
So, hey, they are arts integrationists as well. And I want them now to tell you a little bit about who they are, particularly their age, because that's important for young people to know their age, where they grew up, and where they are now. Either one of you can start.
You want to start? Okay. My name is Jaila Price, and I'm 21 years old, and I'm a senior at Reinhardt University. And this is my sister Myla, and we've both have moved around a lot. But like we grew up in Dallas, Powder Springs, Austell, so like here and there. And now we're in Canton, Georgia, because we wanted to move closer to my school so I could commute. And yeah.
Okay. All right, Myla.
I'm Myla Janae Price. I'm 17 and I'm a senior in high school. I'm homeschooled.
Yeah. That's an important thing. Yes.
Yes. That's an important fact. They were homeschooled and still are. Myla's still being homeschooled. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too and how that feels as a young person who is in the arts. But first, I want to give you an opportunity to tell what art form is your primary focus right now?
Dance.
Look, Myla, hurry up and say it, dance. Okay, Jaila?
For me, it's everything. I like to stay marketable. So like anywhere I see, like if I see a dance call or if I see an audition for like an extra or a movie role, like I like to be around and not just like look up one thing or like audition for one thing.
So so that leads us to this. What are you studying at Reinhardt University?
Musical theater.
Musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that just didn't happen by happenstance, did it?
Right.
It really, God began working on this way before you even knew what he was working on. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Looking back, oh my goodness, you could not get me to sing. First of all, I couldn't sing.
Could not.
Yeah, all I did was act. That is it. That was my passion. I knew what I wanted to do, knew what I wanted to be. And then like at the last minute, I like picked my major and I was like, I think I'm supposed to do everything. It was crazy. I just never had the confidence really to even try. I was like, I'm the actor, Myla is the singer and dancer. Mm-hmm. And then at 13, I was like, okay, I'll try a dance class out. And I took it at her dance studio, fell in love with it. And then 2 months after that, I did my first dance competition, found out I love performing in front of people, not just as an actor, but as a dancer as well. And then at 17, going into my senior year, I did a musical theater category at the dance competition where you would just lip sync. And I really enjoyed that. So then I was like, well, let me try to real sing. So then I started taking vocal going into my college audition was the first time I ever sung.
And I heard you did an outstanding job, young lady.
Like,
But what's so funny about all of this is Myla, I got to tell this story.
Oh,
So that the audience can get an idea of where you started. I remember we had it was a arts advocacy. We did it at a gym. We did it at Douglas County High School. Y'all remember that? And well, Jaila might not have been there, but Myla walked up to me in the auditorium. You were 8 years old, Myla. And you asked me if I would teach you voice. You because you knew Amani, you remember? And you walked up to me and you said, you asked me about voice lessons. And that's when I went ahead and contacted your parents. Myla was the one that was singing everywhere. She was singing, honey. And Myla, my dad, you made such an impact on him. You came to Athens, Georgia to sing at my church. You remember?
yes,
Yes.
that whole
Oh, my daddy just asked me last week, where is that girl? He said, that girl can sing. You made a major impact on him that day, you know, and you were 8 or 9 years old. Now, Jaila, on the other hand, I remember when you decided during summer camp, you know, when we had that summer camp, performing arts summer camp, you decided you were going to take voice.
Yep.
You did it, even though it was something that you were
Shied
kind of
away from.
scared, yeah, shying away from it.
Mhm.
You did attack it, and so you were a risk taker, even though that's not, you're going to leave that up to your sister. Both of you've always been dancers, you know, really anyway. But Myla, I want you to tell me a little bit about your journey and where this idea for singing came from, because I think that's where you started, right? Or was it dance or singing? It was singing, yeah. So tell us about where that came from.
well, I've just always like been singing ever since I was younger. I would like hum around the house and stuff, and then I was like, I want to do this like you. And I asked for lessons and stuff, and I was like, it was scary because like I had always gone off natural talent, so being in that kind of environment where it's like you do this and you lift your shoulders this way so you can sing better this way, so that was very different for me. And I was like confident in singing, but not that much. Things had happened where I was like, where it took me back a few, and I was like scared to sing for a minute, and I recently started regaining that confidence. So it's just a growing process, and you just really have to figure yourself out and find your voice.
Yeah, but I remember you were never shy about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you might have felt that way. And even I can give my own testimony here. When I was in college, I was a voice major. And I don't know why in the life of me I went that route. But God knew why. But I always thought too much about breathing, the technique, and standing correctly. And I would say, well, why do I need to do this? But now I understand that to protect my voice, I need to have the correct posture. I need to use my vocal cords in the correct way. So I understand the, anxiousness about, am I doing this right? Because if you're just singing, around the house, you're not thinking about it and it just comes out naturally. But when you have to think about the technical part, it can get a little, uncomfortable. Now, tell me, girls, about the dance part, where that came from.
Okay. I guess you can start since you started first. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I started dancing when I was 3. I have no idea how I got thrown into it. I just did, and I loved it automatically. And there was a point in time where I was doing gymnastics and dance at the same time. And my dance teacher was like, gymnastics teaches the complete opposite of dance, like technique-wise. So she was like, you're going to have to choose one or the other. You can't do both. Like, you can't, like, mix techniques like that. So I chose dance, and I absolutely loved it. And then for a minute, I kind of fell out of love with it because it just felt like I was doing it just to be doing it because other people were telling me to. So I took a break. And then I got back into it at like 10, and I haven't stopped since. Like, it's such a good outlet, and it's fun, and you have ways to connect to other people, and like, it's just awesome, like a great thing to do.
Wow. What about you, Jaila?
So then I followed in my younger sister's footsteps. And we met this great lady. Her name is Carnita Jones.
Yes. Wonderful lady.
Yes.
Wonderful lady. Yeah.
And I began learning from her, and I just really enjoyed it. And that started at 13 years old. And it was a different outlet for us because we were homeschooled and we loved staying in the arts and staying performing. And then after that, I started doing dance competitions. And I wish I got in it sooner because my competing, it was like very short. I only did it up to 17 years old, so all throughout high school. But it was a really great way for me to break that barrier, because when I was younger, I was very, very shy. But on stage, I felt like a whole different person, and I could play all these different characters, and it really gave me an outlet to express myself, especially because
Wow, that's important.
yes, like I guess when we were younger, we had complete different personalities. Like Myla was very outgoing,
Yes, you did.
and I was very shy, you would say. So very quiet.
Jaila, you were so funny.
Yeah. When I got comfortable, yes.
Oh gosh, I remember. You remember I would write those plays for y'all to do,
Yes.
and Jaila was always the comedian, believe it or not. So even that acting side of you was there always,
Yes.
but you had not yet tapped into it. And
Right.
since you said something that was very profound that I want to kind of piggyback off of, the outlet of being able to express yourself. How important is that for a human being?
It's very important. I feel like everybody has to find their way because we all have different personalities. Some people do cooking, some people draw, some people are motivational speakers because it helps them when they help others. And I love that a lot. And just being in the environment that I was in with Mahogany and Jamari and Amani, it was great. And it just being around other people who support your vision or who like share common interests is just amazing.
It is. And you know, you all inspired me so. That's what a lot of older people don't want to admit, because some of us, we think we know it all, but we don't. You know, everybody can teach. And I learned so much from young people. That there were moments in my own life where I felt like, you know, I don't need to be doing this or whatever. And then one of you all would come along with your bubbly attitude and artsy self, and it kind of would lift my spirits to keep going on being a creator. So that being able to express yourself is so important, and is really the basis for how I teach in the school system. My students know, in my room, you are who you are. It doesn't matter how you express yourself, we're down with it, because everybody really is a creator.
Yeah.
Everybody. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about this. How important is it for you to have support in your creativity?
Like, how can you do anything without support? Like, you need your parents' support financially as well. And like friends, like being able to uplift you and be like, even if this person says this, I believe that you can do it, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to go there with you when you do this audition, and I'm going to boost your self-esteem. Like, having support is everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I would definitely agree. For me, support was even more important, I feel like, because my sister had her own mindset. She was like, I'm going to do this whether y'all like it or not. This is my goal. Me, I needed people in my corner to push me. I needed you, Miss Marcy. You inspired me. I needed Carnita Jones. I needed my mom and dad. And I needed other mentors who were performing as a career. Because it's cool when you dance and sing as a hobby, but I knew somehow that I wanted to like make this my passion. I wanted to do this for a job, and like seeing you all is like how I knew that I could make money off of like doing what I love in all different ways, teaching, performing, like
Yes.
everything.
Yes. And that's another thing. There are so many facets to us. I mean, it's not just one thing that we can do. You have to pull from everything that God has placed in you. Everything. If you know how to sing, sing. I'm not the best singer, but I can hold a tune,
Right.
and I can teach it. Okay? I'm not the best piano player, but I can play a little bit and I can teach it. I like writing scripts. I mean, every part you're supposed to, before you leave this earth, you're supposed to empty yourself and use everything God has given you to bring him glory. Now, if you don't do it, that's on you. And God will have to deal with you how he deals with you. But it is important that you don't sleep on the gifts and talents that you have. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about some challenges that you've had as creators, as young creators, because we all have them. So I know you have some. What have been some of the challenges you've gotten from peers, from family members, or just life in general when you're dealing with your creative side?
So being younger, I always remember my immediate family, as in like mom and dad, constantly supported us. But as far as the other family and grandparents, unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, but we just started getting their support. So us being homeschooled carried a lot of that, as far as like people not supporting us, because people look down on homeschoolers a lot, especially for the reason that we were homeschooled. God told my mom when I was in, I think, 3rd grade that I needed to get out of the public school system. And then Myla's been homeschooled her whole life. And I think that helped push our career a lot, because we were homeschooled, we were on our own schedule, and we had more opportunities, especially when we started getting jobs. And being homeschooled, my grandparents thought that probably was the dumbest decision ever, because we were going to be socially awkward. We weren't going to be able to get into college. And so that was definitely a challenge, and it always was in the back of my mind of how like people would think of me, because they did not, like, unless you are making money right now, they feel like it's not
pointless.
Yeah, it's pointless and it's not going to happen. So having the support from everyone was definitely a challenge for me, especially because I constantly think about what other people think. So that is definitely like an internal conflict that I'm constantly dealing with myself, but I've overcame that a lot. I still am.
Be delivered from people.
Yes, I agree.
The opinions of people.
Being African American, definitely, especially in the community that my sister and I grew up in, we didn't grow up in an all African American community. So when we were in front of Black people, we were definitely judged.
A target.
We were judged a lot from our own people, and we just couldn't understand why. And like they would say that we were white because
you talk white.
Because you talk. You know what? I never understood that. What is talking white?
Like a race. Like that's not.
What is talking white? Do you all know?
No. Apparently, it's speaking correctly. Like that's what? That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So that wasn't a very fun time to deal with, being judged by your own people, especially at a young age. I mean, I didn't get any of it. When I was like 10 years old, people would be like, "What are you mixed with?" And I'd be like, "My mama black and my daddy."
Your mom's black and your dad's black.
So I didn't get it. So that's one thing. I will say, as far as the work that I've done like in my younger years, as an African American, like that's when I figured out that like I would say that the roles that I went on, it doesn't matter about your skin color. That's when I really found like it's just different in the performing arts world, how everybody brings you in and like you feel equal. Like then I felt like I wasn't judged anymore. But then going to college, specifically Reinhardt University, I would say it's getting more African Americans, but it was another environment where it was just Caucasian. So I would say getting roles for musical theater, especially for my first time, is very hard, which is why I like acting auditions, because it seems to have no skin color, whereas in musical theater, you have a voice type that they're looking for, and a character type and how you look. So all the roles are very boxed in. And I would say being Black, they are expecting me to riff when I sing or have a powerful voice. And that is just not my voice. So
I went through that too, Jaila. And I went to an HBCU, so you can imagine.
that, yeah, I couldn't imagine. So I would say that's where my challenges are right now. It's definitely hard. It's like sometimes you feel like things are just getting right and we're all being seen as equal, but then it's always something, which is why you have to keep an open mind and not think that everybody is racist, but every director has a vision that they want. And don't always focus on the color of your skin, but just focus on like, okay, they said no, but that's room for more yeses. And I never ponder on why they said no. I just imagine that there's something better for me. God did that for a reason. That wasn't what I was supposed to do right then and there. So
What about you, Jaila? I'm not Jaila. Myla, what kind of challenges have you had?
When I go on like dance auditions, I'm often the only Black person in the room, and sometimes I do like doubt my own abilities, like, oh, they're better than me, or they're gonna get the part because they look a certain way, or I like doubt my training. So that's been a challenge as well. I feel like people are always looking at me as the only Black person in the room. They expect certain kind of things, and they expect me not to like know ballet technique because I am Black. And I always get the question when I say I'm a dancer, they're like, oh, you do hip hop. And I'm like, I do point and tap and jazz and contemporary. And they're like, oh, it always shocks them. That's like always been a challenge because I feel like I'm always being doubted simply off of my color and not my ability.
Wow, that's absolutely right. And Mahogany did dance.
Yes.
And with both of my kids, I just kind of let them gravitate to what they were naturally gravitating to. I always tell parents, especially in elementary school, that's a time for them to explore. Do not push anything on your child. If they want to do this, let them do it. If they want to do that, let them do it. Mahogany danced starting at age 4. And when she got to, I think, 9th grade, she said, Mama, I don't want to do that anymore. She had found that visual arts was her niche. And so I said, okay, that's cool. But what do you say to young people whose parents are insisting on them going a certain path and it conflicts with the path that they want to go?
From my experience, my mom's rule was always to try it 3 times. And after 3 times, like 3 classes, then she would be like, do you like this? And I'd be like, no. And she'd take me out. We did that with pretty much everything, dancing, singing, and karate, gymnastics. My mother put us in everything.
Some kind of sport.
But she would just always give us a choice. And I guess for kids, maybe they could ask their parents, like, okay, I will try it. Because I think you always should try new things, especially like, don't let fear be a reason. For me, it was fear. all the time. And then when my mom put me in, I would be like, oh, that's not as scary, but I still don't like it. So like, I would say at least try. And then also, I guess depending on the age range, that's really where it comes in at, because as a young child with no car,
Yeah.
Not much you can do.
It's hard. And I feel like if your parents are unsupportive of your vision, or you don't want to do something, I guess like surround yourself with more support with anywhere you could find. And there's definitely different outlets. Like now you have social media and everything. And then I guess if you do want to be in the arts, there are many opportunities. I mean, I know schools definitely have things in camps and online where you can talk to people. It's very hard when your parents are pushing you or in a direction you don't want to go in. And then when you get in high school, I feel like high school may be a little bit more, maybe a little bit easier, because then you have a voice and you also have friends with cars, and you might have your car too. But yeah, and then college, that's you.
That's you.
You go there, you pick your major. I have so many friends who some want to do musical theater, some don't, and it's all because of their parents pushing them. Like one of our friends, he did the musical theater camp with us when I was 17, and he still does it with her, and he loves it, but his parents are their dentists. So they want him to go to dentistry school, I guess. And that is a struggle that he's constantly dealing with. And all the advice that I can give him is like, just pray.
Yes.
And pray that they will open their mind and open their heart and see that this is really something you want to do and that you can do it. And I always tell people, you can have more than one passion though.
Yes.
Don't ever think you have to stay on one track. In college, I found so many things that I like to do. I love to script write, apparently. I love to do that. And I love, I guess, the science behind the body. So, which is why I'm starting to choose the physical therapy route. When I
saw that you posted that in the Connecting Point group, which is another platform, young people. If you go to Facebook, you can connect to the Connecting Point group to connect with other creators. But I saw you put that, and I said, "Oh, that is so wonderful." It makes my heart happy.
Yeah,
because you're learning how to integrate everything into the purpose that God placed you here for, and that is amazing. Jaila, do you want to talk a little bit about what you can because you're coming from a different perspective now. Not Jaila, but Myla. Yeah, I keep doing that.
Everybody does.
Jaila's in college, but you are getting ready to graduate from high school. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. And you're in a different position. The pandemic's going on. So how are you, what can you tell a young person about sticking with what their heart is telling them to do regarding their creative side?
And their parents aren't necessarily for it.
Well,
like Jaila said, pray and hope that they open their mind, but also like practice, and maybe you can convince them like, I'm good at it, or at least I want to do it. We should give it a try as well as your thing, and just like follow your heart. I know there's not much you can do when like you're young and your parents don't support you and they're like, I'm not going to pay for this class, but like, you know what you want to do. So just keep that desire for it until you are able to go out and like take classes and do things yourself. Like, don't lose that passion that you have.
Because they can't stop you from working. You can practice as much as you want to.
You can practice and twirl around the house as much as you want to.
And I feel like that will also give them an opportunity to see, wow, they really want this. Because I know a lot of parents don't know what's going on in your head. If they see that you're saying that you want to be a performer and stuff, and they don't see you doing anything that, they're going to be like, I'm not wasting my money. You know, that's how it is for a lot of people. So
like
practice.
take it upon yourself. Like if
Right.
they're not going to pay for a class, okay, look up a tutorial
Right.
on YouTube and use your table as a ballet bar and like follow the video and do it and practice and all that kind of stuff. Like take it upon yourself until you are able to go to those places and audition and all that stuff.
And you know, this year in particular, before we left school, I started talking more about the imagination. And I taught all of my students, if you imagine it, you can see it, then you say it, then do it, and you'll be it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a process in it. Once you see the picture in your head of what it is you want to be and do, then you need to start speaking it. You know, I went into the school year and I said, you know what, I'm not going to call myself a music teacher anymore. That's not who I am. I'm a music integrationist. And the more I delve into that, God is showing me, I want you to even take music off of it. You are an integrationist. So you like bringing ideas, concepts, and people together. So you can't just put that in a box of music integrationist. Now, when I started saying it, I started doing it more. I am that. So you've got to, like Jaila and Myla said, you have to start showing the action. Because one thing about parents, if they see, well, if they're healthy parents, let's say, spiritually healthy, if they see your passion carry out in their eyes in front of them, I don't know any loving parent that would not support that. So just keep working at it. Girls, now, I always do this on every platform. I want you to show us something of your creativity. It can be a monologue, it can be a song, whatever you want. Give us something.
Also, if you can hear my mom in the background, she's just like preaching, saying amen to everything.
Tell your mama to come here. Tell her to come here right now. I love this. I love the prices here. What? She's what? Come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on. Where is she?
Hey, Miss Marcy.
You know I love y'all, don't you?
Love you too.
I was about to cry when I saw these girls.
I know they big.
Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy.
Miss Marcy, we are
Yeah,
tall.
Myla's taller than Jaila now.
I know you were taller than me then, so I know. I know what it's like now. I do what my parents ask about y'all all the time.
I want to go see them.
Yay.
Oh
I
my
want to go
gosh.
see them.
Y'all gotta come. They ask about y'all all the time. They
Don't
do.
they live in Athens?
Yeah. They're
I can drive to Athens. I'll drive.
right. They're driving now. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes, you
It's
can
a
drive.
wonderful thing what you're doing, Miss Marcy. It's a wonderful thing for the youth.
It's God given.
Yes.
It's God given. I cannot take the credit for it. I'm just a vessel. You know, and I'm trying to follow God the best way that I can.
Right.
I know it's some things I got to work out with it. I'm not used to a camera. I really don't like being on video, but I had to do it because that's what God said do. So I'm going with it.
Yeah.
But I just want to commend you and Jared. Y'all have done a wonderful job with these girls.
Thank you.
I mean, what can I say? Hey, the support you've given over the years, I have seen it. I know many people have witnessed it, and the girls know it. They will never forget it.
It wasn't easy when
I know.
everybody else is doubting what you're doing, why you're doing it, how, why are you investing in this money can be going. There's many sacrifices that have been made for a child that's in the arts. And a lot of people don't see that. They're like, well, I got to pay this and I got to pay that. But I believed in the vision. I saw where God wanted my children to go, and it was worth the investment.
Yeah, and I saw y'all do it, and it was not hard. There were many tears shed.
Yes, it was.
I know that, and like she said, sacrifices.
Yes.
To me, anything that has love attached to it there's a sacrifice involved. So if no one's sacrificing, they haven't shown you a sacrifice, it's not genuine love. And sacrifice comes in different forms. And it's apparent that you love your children because you have supported them in their vision, which when they were young, you had to, of course, help shape it a little bit. But then now you can kind of sit back and say, y'all run with it because they're older now.
They're older.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
They'll say, I like this or I don't like that. Okay, you know what you like, don't like. I just ask whatever it is you do, put 110% in. As a parent, you want to see them put 110% in whatever they desire that they want to do. Put 110% in. Don't put halfway in it because you're not all in it. You have to put 110%. If that's what in being in the arts, that's a hard industry to go into.
Very competitive.
You have to have very thick skin. It's not made for sensitive people. You have to have very thick skin, and if you don't, you'll get it along the way.
Yeah, because when they tell you you didn't make this audition,
that's right.
You can't break down and cry. You got to move to the next thing.
You can't, and you figure out if there's anything you could have did better. You just take that. It's every audition is not a failure because it is always a learning experience. What did you learn from that audition? Take it with you on the next audition. That's what I tell them.
You know, I just went through.
Go ahead.
I can just give my own testimony here. I just went through, tough interview process for something. And I didn't feel comfortable about when it was over. And it didn't pan out like I wanted it to. But God said, no. Nothing shall be wasted. And now I see that was getting me ready for this platform. Right. Because he knew I just didn't feel comfortable with this talking on, video. Now I do it with my students. That's different when I'm teaching. But this here was not a comfortable setting for me. And so I needed that extra push through something that was challenging for me. So there's nothing wasted in this life.
That's how I feel.
Nothing.
Well, I'm going to let y'all get back to
thank you. It was good seeing you.
Okay.
Okay. Give me something creative. Yes.
I'll do a monologue.
A monologue. Okay. Yes.
Okay. I'll slate and everything too. Mom, you can get. Okay. Hello, my name is Jaila Price, and I'll be performing a monologue by Tony Kushner. I'm preparing this culinary meal for you. The least you can do is make it to the table. Come on, I'm asking you to walk a few hundred feet, crawl if you have to. I don't care how you get there. I'm sorry, what was that? Maybe take me out to lunch. We could have a few kids. Then you can die. Look, Nelson, I'm gonna get old eventually, okay? We cannot keep playing out this scenario. Yeah, I could have married myself a lawyer or maybe even a doctor, but Nelson, I chose you. Now tell me why. That's it.
Oh, girl, I love it. Look. Okay, Miss Myla, I hadn't heard your voice since the Teacher of the Year. Myla came to sing for me when I was honored as Teacher of the Year, and I am so excited. Let me hear your voice, girl.
As well. Hi, my name is Myla Janae Price, and I will be doing a cut of Lost in the Brass from Band Beats. Buddy, I'm always buddy. I'm a girl for your information, forever in this situation, waiting and hoping he'll notice how I'm feeling. But every time I get him near, I fade away, I disappear. That's me, never getting heard. He just smiles and walks away like I never said a word. Oh, can anybody hear me? Am I just blowing air while the whole world marches past? But my melody can never be heard clearly. I just get lost in the brass.
Beautiful. I see theater all over this here. Now, off the air, I'm going to tell y'all what I see. I'm not going to say it on the air because you can't tell everything on the air. But I see something that you all probably want to work on. That will be mighty powerful for the coming season that we're in. You probably have already thought about it, actually, but we'll talk after this. Okay. Now, girls, young ladies, this has been so fun. I love y'all dearly. But before we go, I want you to just give some words of encouragement or inspiration to young people out there who need to hear it.
Okay. First, I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Marcy, for this opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm so happy for it, especially because as young people, I feel like that's what we need to get better doing, is the interview process and talking to older people, because you can perform and dance, but it's that's voice that's going to get your foot in the door and being able to present yourself. So I would want to tell young people to don't get discouraged in this time that we are in. I know when I started spring semester, which started January, it was going to be great, junior year, and then it quickly ended in March. And I was devastated because this was the first time that long story short, I auditioned for the opera program who's doing Sound of Music, and they accepted me, and they usually don't accept musical theater people because our voices is very different from the opera department. And this was my first time I was ever going to sing basically on their stage and actually have an important part, like a name part. And I don't get to do that anymore. And I was very discouraged. And so I would just say, keep going and keep fighting for what you want. And also, if you don't know your passion yet, to pray about it and ask God to tell you what your purpose is, or ask him to guide you on this path that he has already paved for you. I know that every night I pray that I'm taking the right steps and going in the right direction.
That's important. Yes, yes, yes.
What are yours?
To encourage the youth, I would say keep practicing, put yourself out there, and do not do something out of fear. And
wow.
Yeah, you always want your motivation to be because I want to inspire people, or I want to show this in a different perspective or whatever, but you never want what you're doing to be because I feel like my followers are banking on me to come out with new music, or I feel the pressure and I feel like I have to do this because this is what is expected of me. You always want to be motivated by yourself because your intentions are going to show through your craft. So you always want to make sure you're doing it for you and for the right reasons, because if not, it's not going to show up how you want it to be seen.
Right.
Also, focus on yourself. I know that was a hard thing for me to do, especially in school, because it was the first time that I was really around people my age. And in the musical theater world, they had been doing this since they were 3 years old. And I felt like I was way behind. So I will always say focus on yourself, because you are at the point where you're supposed to be. Don't say somebody's there or somebody's doing this better, because you'll get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And young people, we're not going to leave you hanging. That's why we're here, to connect with you, to support you in however you need us to support you. And these girls, they wouldn't mind talking to you at all. I already know that about them. And I can say that their support, their encouragement, and their advice will be sound advice, because they've been raised right and they know what to do because they've been there. So, Jaila and Myla, can you give the audience a way to contact you?
Yes. The best contact for me is either Facebook or Instagram, and I posted in the group chat, the connecting point, and it's my name, J apostrophe AI capital LA. A little bit confusing, I know. And then last name is Price. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will respond.
Okay.
The best way to contact me is through Gmail or Instagram. I'm always on Instagram, and I constantly check my emails. So my email is mylajanae@gmail.com, and my Instagram is myla.janae.
And in the event that you want to be on a platform like this yourself, you may contact me. My information, you may go to the website, integrativeartscreations.com, or email me at integrativearts@att.net. That's INTEGRATIVE arts@att.net. It was so wonderful sharing with you all today. And audience, remember, stay connected. Just stay connected with the right people. You will not regret it. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.